So, this is from the time when I was very young, and I don't exactly remember at what age, but probably around 12 or so. Now, sometimes when there is no electricity for long hours, so we either IDKY, then I think I too dozed off, and again in the midnight, I woke up with the same loud scream. It sounded like a male just saying, and this went on for whole night. He kept shouting, and it felt like he was going far then coming close, as if he was running or walking. I don't know. Now, I don't remember whether my mom and brother slept inside or were sleeping out with us, but the whole night I heard this person and wasn't able to sleep. I remember that this wasn't any dream, and there was no news of any incident next day, but I didn't told anyone. Although now that I'm 18 years old, I once told my brother recently about the incident, and he can't recall anything from the night, of course. According to him, if there was no news, then it was probably my dream, or I was just half asleep. But trust me, every time I remember that night, it gives me goosebumps, and I wish I knew if it was real. Like, you know how sometimes you have some memories, but you can't recall whether it's from your dream or reality. Me and my friend, who I won't say their name, were going to a haunted house in our area. It was crazy because we never actually went inside of a haunted house. It was always usually the normal trick-or-treating. We were both 11 at the time, so we were walking to the haunted house. When we had finally arrived, it was creepy as hell. It looked very realistic, and I knew that these people spent a lot of time into the haunted house. It was a maze-like haunted house. You had to find your way out in darkness. When we were inside, my friend decided that she wouldn't go ahead in first, and that I would have to lead the way. I felt annoyed, but it was fine. It was very dark and I couldn't see well. A fake Michael Myers looking guy scared the shit out of me. Then there was a basement, which I sadly didn't know about as I tumbled down the stairs. They never told you how to get out, so I assumed you'd have to find a door. My friend saw a door which seemed to be a way out. She opened it and I followed after her. It wasn't that good of a discovery though, as we saw some dark red in the door, which had a light on. We both ran out of there ASAP. I legit was scared of being in there now. I then saw another guy who said he found the way out. Me and my friend both went out and thanked the guy nicely. We were then walking home disturbed, but relieved that we got out of there. We then saw a guy pull up saying he had candy in his car. It was very stupid back then, and I decided to follow, while my friend went along too. When we made it to his car, he opened the trunk of it and had a lot of candy in there. I was so happy and wanted as much of it as possible. Then said this, "I have a lot more at my house, you two want to go?" We were total nincompoops and went around by the side door when my friend spotted about 4 other men inside of the car, some with creepy looking smiles, and they were the creepiest looking guys I ever saw. Yellow teeth, most with balding black or brown hair, a bald guy with a tattoo on his neck. My friend got scared shitless and ran away. I followed her and the car followed behind us. The car decided to go slowly, but make sure it could see us. I assumed to not look suspicious. I then decided to run into the woods to hide because we were in a dead-end street at that point. My friend went behind some bushes. I came up with an idea, and I'll forever thank the game hide and seek for this. I told my friend to come next to me, and I led her down under a bunch of branches. It was different because these branches surrounded the area, and they were dipped down from a small hill on a rocky-ish surface, almost like a small cave. I then grabbed other branches to surround us completely, to the point where we would be nearly, if not even impossible, to see from a nearby angle. We both heard footsteps and held our breath. We then saw feet right next to us, but go down the hill. We heard other footsteps go farther, farther, and farther. When we couldn't hear them anymore, we both removed the branches as quickly as we could and sprinted to my house. We called the police, but couldn't do much since we didn't get the license plate. So we just dropped the whole thing and moved on. That was easily the scariest moment in my life. This moment hasn't ruined Halloween for me though, and I still love the holiday. I'm sure I'll never forget this moment though. It was the middle of the 7th lunar month on the Chinese calendar, the Festival of Ghosts. Oddly enough, my school organized a parents-teacher meeting that night to discuss some matters pertaining to the school. That night, the parents were inside the hall, while a bunch of my friends and I were loitering around the school compound. All 6 of us, Joe, Brad, Jenny, Chrissy, my sister, and I, sat down in the middle of the basketball court playing a game of dare. We were having lots of fun until Chrissy dared Brad to go to a hidden place behind the school and come back. My school is big and old. It has a lot of hidden places that only few students and teachers know of. One of our favorite spots is this slopey open area at the back of the school. We nicknamed it House On, literally back hill. We often go there to have a little picnic during lunch hour, but we had never been near it at night. There were stories from the seniors that a girl hanged herself there in the past and had since haunted the place at night. To go there, one has to go through a series of steps and through a gate. The place is not lit at night, and on a moonless night like that night, one could easily get lost inside. Anyway, Brad chickened out, saying that the story was true and that he won't go up. However, my sister suggested that we tie ourselves to one another with a long rope and got up there together. It sounded like a good idea. After all, not many believed the story. So we found a rope and we were all set to venture into House On in the dark. We walked carefully up the stairs. No doubt all of us had our fears, but nobody dared to say anything. It was so dark we could hardly see each other. After passing the gate, I realized the knot of the rope was untied and I've lost everyone. I was really scared by then. I didn't know what to do, but no better than to venture further into the dark. So I quickly turned around and headed back down. Just as I was about to leave, I heard a voice saying, "Going so soon?" The voice was so eerie and spooky. I knew it couldn't have been my friends, so I just ignored it and climbed down the stairs. While descending the stairs, I could sense a strong smell of burning candles. I ran to the basketball court, hoping that the rest would be there waiting for me. But there was no one there. I was too petrified to go back into House On to look for them, so I decided to wait for them there. A few minutes passed before Joe came back, followed by my sister, Brad, and Jenny. Apparently, everyone was separated once we passed the gate, and no one knew where Chrissy was. We were worried for Chrissy. We decided to go near the stairs and shout for her. We were too afraid to go inside again. Chrissy only showed herself almost an hour later. When she came down, she was so pale and so scared that she was shivering in a state of shock. None of them heard any voices, even though everyone smelt the burning candle. Chrissy, however, encountered the ghost of the girl who hanged herself there. Chrissy told us her story later. "We had just passed the gate when I realized I had lost you guys. The rope was like cut, and it was totally silent in there. I called out for you all, but nobody answered me. I was getting really scared by then. I looked around in the dark, and all I could see was a bright red glow near a tree. I didn't know what to do, and I thought you guys might be there. So I headed towards the light. I got to some bushes near a tree, but I couldn't find the source of the red glow in that area. Then I suddenly felt some water dripping onto my face. I thought it was raining, but when I looked above, I saw a girl hang to the tree with a noose on her neck, and she was staring down at me, smiling an evil grin. The water dripping down on me was actually blood. I was so scared I just ran away. I kept turning to look behind, and she would always be near. I wasn't sure if she was chasing me or I just never moved a bit, even though I ran with all my might. A short moment later, I think I tripped over something, as I remember I fell to the ground and fainted. When I woke up, I heard people calling me from afar. I was hoping it was you guys. I walked towards the noises, and soon I came upon the gate. And yes, as I was climbing down the stairs, there was this strong and peculiar smell, like something being burnt. Brad interrupted. It was the smell of candles burning. We all smelt it too, but no one saw anything. Anyway, I was too afraid to give it much thought then. You couldn't imagine how relieved I was to see you all then. Chrissy was clearly terrified. After that incident, we no longer venture into House On. Nevertheless, we did some research and found out from some teachers the story of the girl who hanged herself there. Apparently, she was pregnant with her boyfriend's baby. Feeling completely lost and helpless, she hanged herself there one afternoon. Some 3 months later, her boyfriend was killed in a car crash. His face bore a horrified look, his eyes wide opened, as if he had seen a ghost.